Brett Mix Macho Wrestling 101 back for you with another Monday Night War review. This is WCW. First, I'd like to say hit like and subscribe if you like my videos. Put them out every day on the Monday Night Wars. And I'd certainly invite you to subscribe if you're into that kind of thing, or if you want to stick up to date with Raw, SmackDown, and the like. Today we go to week 32. It's May 13th, 1996. This is the 35th episode of Nitro, but the 32nd week they went at it. And for the 6th straight week, Raw gets the better of Nitro. Raw gets a great 3.5 rating to this week to Nitro's 2.3. A full 1.2 difference in the ratings, even though through 32 weeks they're basically even. Through 32 weeks, Nitro has 14 wins, Raw has 16 wins, and 2 draws. This is the Nitro with the 2.3 rating, commentated by Steve McMichael, Eric Bischoff, and Bobby Heenan, with Steve McMichael's Chihuahua dog, Pepe. Nitro begins with Bischoff talking about Slamboree as it's the go-home show. He says Benoit will take tonight on Dave Taylor. Luger is camping outside the building to prove he will show up for tonight's show, unlike the last two. That's a bit extreme, but okay. Bischoff says we are getting the Steiners and the Public Enemy who don't get an entrance. He says the Macho Man is banned from the building tonight and he got fined $50,000, the same amount Dennis Rodman got fined by the NBA, by WCW, for losing his mind and assaulting referees. Bischoff talks about being live. They're live from the Nashville Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee. Heenan calls it a hick town. Opening match. Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner, take on the Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. Rocco Rock begins with Steiner in there and torques the arm, and Steiner uses his momentum of the top rope when diving and throws Johnny Grunge into Rocco Rock. Rick comes in as the Steiners proving to be a cohesive unit, as Bischoff says. Johnny Grunge levels Rick Steiner off the ropes with a shoulder block. A leapfrog, then a belly-to-belly suplex to Johnny Grunge, and a side splash by Scott Steiner. Scott tagged in with a belly-to-belly overhead suplex to Johnny Grunge. Both teams end up brawling to the outside by the guardrails. Rick Steiner tags in Scott when they get back inside, and a tilt-a-whirl slam on Rocco Rock. Scott Steiner puts Rocco Rock on the top of the corner and missed crossbody headbutt onto Rocco Rock by Scott Steiner. Public Enemy force him to the corner as they double-team Rock. That's Rocco Rock. Johnny Grunge and Grunge tagged in, and Scott slams him to the mat. Repeated elbow drops by the Public Enemy, who then take it to Steiner. Rocco Rock walked the top rope, showing amazing agility, and Johnny Grunge lifted Rocco Rock up, and he splashed onto Scott Steiner in the middle of the ring. Scott needs a hot tag to Rick. In the end, Rick needs the hot tag, but Scott could barely get there. When he did, he dropped both members of the Public Enemy with clotheslines, belly-to-belly suplex to the floor, double-teaming Rick, and a somersault plancha from Rocco Rock to Johnny Grunge on the floor as Rick moved out of the way. Scott with a Frankensteiner, and then that gets a 3 count on Rocco Rock as Scott Steiner hits a Frankensteiner, a standing Hurricane Rana at 6:55. Pretty good match as the Steiners beat the Public Enemy here. I rated the match 2 stars and 3/4. Great opener. Chris Benoit takes on Squire David Taylor with Jeeves. Squire, Squire. It's always great to get a Benoit match. They're always quality, especially with one of the Blue Bloods who can clearly wrestle. Single leg takedown by David Taylor to Benoit, who then comes back at him. David Taylor looks around, unsure, as Benoit hits an enziguri. Benoit takes a chop, an uppercut followed by another European uppercut. Snapmare into a shoulder block, leapfrog by Benoit, then a boot to the face by David Taylor. Benoit chopped away at Taylor, then catapulted him into the corner. Huge knife edge chop, laying David Taylor out. Taylor then hits a European uppercut and a double axe handle to the outside, where Chris Benoit is. He clobbers him in the back, and then sends him right into the corner hard. Benoit lays on the canvas floor. David Taylor with a fallaway slam. Taylor then with a crossbody to Benoit, but he moves out of the way. Benoit hits Northern Lights suplex into a dragon suplex with a bridge. And in the end, at 4:18, Benoit wins. A decent 4-minute match here by Benoit and Taylor. I rated it 2 stars and 3/4, just like the first match. They have Macho Man dressed in black on the outside with a bag. He's got a gym bag or a wrestling bag he carries with him, and he's trying to get through security, but there's a bunch of security and officials on the outside with Mean Gene, and he has a microphone in his hand. They say, "Randy Savage, have you been into therapy?" And he goes, "Yes, I saw a female psychiatrist. She said I was OCD, one cool dude, and she understands how I feel right now. Everything's cool, everything's copacetic." pretty much Randy says that. I know I probably can't do the voice, but a little stuffy, so I usually can do a somewhat of a voice of Randy. Anyways, Ric Flair with Elizabeth and Woman taking on VK Wall Street. VK Wall Street ties up with Flair. Both these guys are good wrestlers, so they do what brought them to the game. They wrestle. Exchange side headlocks, clear hip toss by VK Wall Street, Flair back body drop, Flair goes for a strut outside the ring, then he comes back inside the ring, and Flair keeps getting a cheap shot on VK Wall Street because Wall Street was dominating with hard right hands, pounding right into Flair. Flair does a face flop on the floor because of how much he's got the shit kicked out of him. Flair with a shot back to VK Wall Street, a back body drop. VK Wall Street with a fallaway slam. Flair's boot was on the ropes. VK Wall Street is tossed to the floor. Flair then gets a sunset flip by VK Wall Street, who comes back into the ring. Woman screams every time Flair gets hurt. Wall Street runs right into the ring post as Nate spots an opening as he moved out of the way in the corner. Flair takes a leg from VK Wall Street with one leg into the post, and Flair sets him up for the figure four and held on to Woman while he gets the figure four leg lock submission at 6:23. This was pretty good. Most of the matches have been serious quality tonight. I rated this 2.5 stars. So the first two matches, 2.75 stars each, and this match, 2.5. So for three matches in, all of them are above 2.5 stars. Not bad. Flair says he made Dolly Parton ride Space Mountain. And then he says, "Did I hear the Macho Man say he would drag a dead tag team?" Flair says, "Does this look dead?" He also threatens McMichael and says, "Look at my wide receivers," as in Liz and Woman, making football references. Bischoff apologizes for the word ass being said, as Flair said at Slamboree he's going to knock the wrestling world on his ass. The Giant with Jimmy Hart takes on Lex Luger for the WCW Heavyweight Championship. The Giant didn't move as Luger knocked the Giant over, but he didn't budge or anything. They brawled to the floor. The Giant is speared by Luger. Luger with a right hand, and now outside the ring, the Giant chokeslams Lex Luger through the table. Flair and Liz and Woman that won't stop screaming, but Sting comes through and tells Giant that's enough. In the end, it was a double countout at 4:05. I rated it a star. Bischoff says Luger has been destroyed by this 7-foot demented psycho, and he promotes Slamboree as it's this Sunday. So this is week 32 of the Wars. Nitro lost 3.5 to 2.3 again, a full 1.2 difference, but this is the end for the Raw's 6-week winning streak. Nitro is going to get back, and are they going to become a force with the appearance of Scott Hall and the Outsiders soon enough? So 32 weeks in, counting 32 weeks, this is the 32nd week. Nitro has 14 wins, 16 losses, and 2 draws. 14, 16, and 2 is their record. Quality rating rise, I rate this Nitro a 7 out of 10 because every match hit a 2.5 star at least through the first 3 matches, and the main event was about as good as a 4-minute Luger Giant match could have realistically been in 4 minutes. Stinger helped Luger to close the show, and again, soon Scott Hall will show up as the Outsiders either next week or the week after. The Outsiders are coming, and that lifts quality of Nitro alone with that whole build about the hostile takeover, their third man, Hogan, and the NWO, and then so on and so forth. It's going to be a good ride from here on out for the Nitro brand, so I invited anyone to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's going to be a lot of fun going through the Monday Night Wars with the NWO there. As for this Nitro, again, 7 out of 10 quality rating wise, and good matches on the card. So building to Slamboree, and then the next week's show will be the show after Slamboree. I'm Brett Mix for this week's Monday Night Nitro review, and we'll see you on the next one, week 33. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.